Silver, however, is a speculative vehicle. I'm much more bullish on silver than I am on gold for the long term for a lot of reasons, but they're different elements.
Understood.
But listen, I don't play with the direct metals so much. I'll trade them occasionally on the futures exchanges, and I own a lot of them physically, which I think everybody should do. But the way I play with them is mainly through mining stocks, because I know something about the mining business, and the stocks tend to be much more volatile than the metals themselves. Mining, it's so risky from every point of view, much more today than ever. It's a speculation, not an investment. And it's not even like it was in the 19th century when that phrase, "it's like a gold mine." If you found a gold mine, that was a good thing. Today, after you spend millions of dollars finding what looks like it may be an economic deposit, then you got to spend many, many millions more developing it. And then if it turns out that it looks like you got an economic deposit, that's where your trouble really starts, building it. Because now NGOs and governments and lawyers and everybody attacks you. So having said that it's a stupid place to put your capital, that's where most of my capital lives.
I was about to say the same thing. I'm 80% miners. God, this is horrible. And explorers.
But here's what I will say about it. I rarely buy stocks. I basically only do finance stocks. In other words, I find a company that I think is worthy for a number of different reasons, and I'll do a private placement, which allows me, generally speaking, to buy stock at a discount to the market.
Nice.
And have an attached warrant, which gives me the right to buy more over anywhere from 1 to 5 years. So that's how I do it. The shadow stat people say that, by their calculations, inflation is not running at 5 or 6% or whatever the Fed says it is. It's running at well over 10%. I think they're correct. And it's going to 15 or 20%. So things are going to get much worse. And it's going to have a lot of consequences, especially for the bond market, which is much bigger than the stock market. It'll have bad consequences for the stock market. And of course, real estate, since it floats on a sea of debt, when interest rates go up, it's going to get tagged too. Plus the fact, of course, that governments everywhere, including the local ones, are bankrupt these days. They're mostly financed by real estate taxes, and people won't be able to pay those real estate. Now we're looking at a major financial catastrophe here. In fact, it wouldn't be so bad if it was just a financial catastrophe. It's going to turn into an economic catastrophe. And an economic catastrophe in a world as unstable as the one that we're in right now will cascade into a political catastrophe. Well, we already have that because the Jacobins are in charge in Washington, D.C. These are exactly the same people, the Biden people and the rest of them, across state governments, city governments. They're the same type of people, psychologically, philosophically, as took over France in 1789 and Russia in 1917. So yeah, political disaster too, and a social disaster as well. Because when the going gets tough and people see that it's pointless saving money because they can't get interest on it today, and it's being inflated rapidly, they'll turn out in the streets. And so we're looking at chaos, actually. But why aren't we having massive protests in the U.S.? Well, perhaps there are a lot of reasons. One reason is that for the last several generations, the education system in the U.S. has pretty well turned Americans into drones that believe in socialistic values and believe that they ought to do what they're told. And something like 20% of the population is on psychoactive drugs. I'm not talking about pot and LSD and stuff like that. I'm talking about any of the 100 or more
antidepressants,
opioids,
Zoloft, Prozac. There's 100 of them that turn them into zombies of a type. That's part of it. Maybe part of it is that everybody, or a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people work for corporations. And the corporations don't want you to step out of line these days, or you might lose your job. So I better just keep my head down, they think, and not go out and protest.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Marco Stan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Marco Stan.